Hi guys, Writeous Rhema here, bringing you your dose of truth for the day or for the year, and that is this. Every season, every year, you must reevaluate your coping skills or your defense mechanisms. Every year, you must reevaluate to make sure that you're updating your coping skills and your defense mechanisms. So coping skills is something that you do to protect yourself from further danger or trauma when you're in a situation where you feel powerless or where you actually are powerless. So an example of that is, imagine you're 13 years old in middle school and a group of girls or boys picks on you every day after school, right? You have no big brother or sister to go there, no other friends who can defend you. Your parents don't know. You're afraid to tell your parents. So you sit there and get bullied every year, or every day after the class, right? So a coping skill might be you may help a teacher out cleaning up her desk or her office just to avoid being alone with those girls or boys. Or you might hide out in the bathroom. You hide out in the boys' bathroom so you won't have to run into this group of people, right? Until your bus or your mom pulls up. So that's how you cope. You cope by running, or you cope by hiding, or you cope by pretending to be busy doing something else, like with somebody who's bigger or who could protect you. But the problem arises is when you use those same coping skills when you were powerless at age 13, when you're now 39. So, you're 3 times older, but you getting bullied at work, and you're getting harassed at work, and you're running and hiding in the break room, or you're hiding in the bathroom, or you're waiting till your husband picks you up and you're hiding out. And that's problematic because every year, every age and stage, you should reevaluate how you're coping. Because again, you're not as powerless as you were at 13. You have power now. You can bullied at work, you can call human resources, HR, you can call compliance officers, you can file harassment, so you can call the EEOC, you can call an attorney, and you can get, the harassment to stop, right? Or you can even, nowadays we have cell phones, you can record the harassment and put it on social media and go viral and the person get fired, right? And get your jobs policies on that, on recording in the workplace. So you don't have to cope the way you were coping before. You don't have to cope like a child. You have skills now. You have power now. You have resources now. A defense mechanism is similar, but a defense mechanism is more like a mental, emotional thing that you do, where, like, if someone says something you don't like that hurts your feelings, you say you're a very sensitive person. Someone says something that hurts your feelings, you may get defensive. You may be like, well, the reason I do that is because this. You rationalize, you justify, you minimize, you spiritualize, you make excuses to why you do what you do. So you defend yourself. But when someone tells you what you're doing, now when you're young, maybe you don't have a lot of self-esteem at the time. You don't have a lot of confidence. You don't really know your identity yet. So you might be like, oh, she's lying, or she's over-exaggerating, she's making stuff up, or she's sensitive, or it's not that bad what I did, or God made me this way, or it's my horoscope sign, I'm a Scorpio, I have to act like this. So it's like you find ways to defend wrong behavior because you're so insecure and you don't know how to hear something that you don't want to hear and still be okay with it. Because sometimes what they're saying is right, sometimes what they're saying is wrong. If you're a mature adult, you're willing to be wrong. You're like, well, maybe I am this way. Maybe I am immature. Maybe I do drink too much. Maybe I do this too much. But defense mechanisms and coping skills, you have to reevaluate them every year. Now, coping skills, I get you had to use them. The thing about coping skills is that you had to cope in order to live. If you didn't cope the way you cope, you would have killed yourself. If you live at home with a pedophile for 10 years and your mother wouldn't believe you, your mother wouldn't put him out, you had to cope any way you could. You might have drank something, smoked something, might have ran away from home. If you were in a school where you were getting bullied and you were thinking about just ending it all, you had to run, you had to hide. If you're in an abusive marriage where your husband was beating you up every day, you had to find ways to cope. You had to find ways to deal with that. But the husband's dead now. The bullies are gone now. The pedophile uncle, he's in jail now. And you're still using the same coping skills you had when you were powerless, when you had no choice. You couldn't go nowhere else. You had to live with your parents. You couldn't go to another school. There was a district that you lived in. You had to go to this one school. The only job that would hire you in town was this one job. You sometimes you're stuck and you have to cope when you're stuck. But you have to evaluate every year. And so I hope that you all this year evaluate. Think about, how do you handle stress? Do you run? Do you hide? Do you try to find somebody to defend you? Do you triangulate, trying to find somebody else to defend you by saying something like, well, you're wrong because even so-and-so said you're wrong. I asked so-and-so and I told them what happened, and even she said you were wrong. That's a coping skill. That's a defense mechanism. That's how you just hearing something you don't want to hear and being okay with it and being like, I'll either change or I won't. you act childish. So I want you all to evaluate, and again, you are the coping skills. I live in Midtown. It's a lot of homeless people in Midtown, and I see them in the winter and I see them in the summer. I see them when it's 0 degrees outside, and I see them when it's 100 degrees outside. And some of them dress the same when it's 100 degrees and when it's 0 degrees. And the problem is that the coat that kept you alive when it was 0 degrees in February, the coat that kept you alive, it can cause you to have a heat stroke in July. Okay? So it's very important that you evaluate how you're coping. Yes, you needed that coat. We totally understand you needed that coat. You know, we had that really bad winter storm this year, I think in February. I think it was this year, right? And it was like negative degrees at times, I think. You had to have that many coats on. But you look crazy when you're wearing that many coats in the middle of July. You have to shed your coping, shed those ways you defend and protect yourself, because you're powerful now. You're not a child anymore. You can fight back. You can defend yourself healthily. And even like with the defense mechanism, that's more mental and emotional defense. But that you're okay. They don't like you. They said you talk too loud. They say you drink too much. They say you love too hard. Whatever they say about you, you're an adult now. You know who you are. You can cope. It's okay. They said it about you. Well, you did the same thing last year. You ain't got to do all that. Well, God made me this way. You ain't got to say all that. Well, I'm a Scorpio. I got to act this way. You ain't got to say all that. Well, I got Indian in my family. You ain't got to say all that. Well, I was busy as a child. You ain't got to say all that. You don't have to make any excuse for who you are. Be who you are. Be who God and you want you to be. You don't have to defend yourself. But if I don't, they're going to hate me. If I don't, they're going to not like me. If I don't, they're going to cut me off. They don't like you anyway. Here's the secret. They don't like you anyway. And nothing you can say to defend yourself will make them like you even more. So when someone says something that you don't like, be like, you have a right to feel the way you feel. I respect how you feel. You have a right to feel the way you feel towards me. And I'm going to let you feel the way you feel, because I'm not responsible to change your feelings towards me. And walk away. Be an adult, you all. You're not a child anymore. You don't have to cry, have tantrums, manipulate, gaslight, change you. Gaslighting is when you have to change my reality of what happened. So that's when you did drink too much. And you were a little sloppy drunk. And they said, you was drinking a little too much at that party. No, I wasn't that drunk. I promise I wasn't that drunk. I asked so-and-so, and she said I wasn't that drunk. See, what happened was you were so drunk, you didn't know how drunk I wasn't. You see what I'm saying? It's like you trying to gaslight and change someone's reality. They know what they saw, they know what they felt about you, and you're trying to change their real reality. So gaslighting is the type of way we defend ourselves. But yes, I want you all to be powerful this year. You already are powerful. I'm a Christian, so greater is He that's in me than he that is in the world. I have the most power. I'm on the side of the most powerful being in the universe. I work for the Most High God, not a lesser God. I work for the Most High God. So I don't have to defend myself. If I said something, I said what I said. You don't like what I said, you're fine. Get over it. I don't have to defend myself anymore. God defends me. God is my defense. Angels protect me. When I do something wrong, I'm able to hear criticism and adjust if needed. I don't have to, well, you did the same thing last year. I knew somebody, your sister did the same thing. You ain't got to do all that, y'all. Be an adult. Don't just cope. Hope. Don't just find ways to, I'm going to drink to cope. I'm smoke weed to cope. I'm going to sleep around to cope. What's that song by Solange? I tried to chase it away, sleep it away. What she was saying, all that away song. Just deal with it. You're powerful. You can handle it. You're a big girl now. You're a big boy now. You can take it. You can handle the pain. You're straight. Let them do what they want to do. You're straight. You will survive. You survived your childhood. You survived the worst childhood you thought was imaginable. You can survive whatever they throw your way now. You're what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word when what's what I'm looking for? You're undefeatable. You're impenetrable. You can't be beat. You're straight now, okay? So I want y'all to go into 2022 knowing that you're impervious. You can't be beat. You survive while you can survive. You can survive everything else that comes your way this year. You don't have to use childish coping skills to protect yourself anymore. You're straight. Don't protect yourself anymore. Use your power. Thank you guys for watching. Please share and subscribe. Happy New Year. Bye.